and welcome back to the Deep Threats Podcast. We are live. It is wonderful for this 18th week of the NFL on a Sunday morning. As you can tell, we got a wonderful co-host on the show, Wheels.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Week 18 is amongst us.
And our token guest of the day, as you can tell, if you haven't been with us for a year and a half, he adds some spice to our life, Mr. Jag.
How you doing, guys?
All right. Thank you guys for being here with us this morning. We are going to get into the game slates, but before we do, we have a couple games that were played on Saturday. Yes. These two games, Jag's always going to be in my scene because he's my bro.
Yes.
These two games that were played on Saturday were the Pittsburgh Steelers
And the Baltimore Ravens.
and the Baltimore Ravens. If you can't tell, you know who won that game based on the graphic.
And
And then the other game was the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so let's go over this game, Wheels, really quick, and tell me what you think about these games.
let's start with the Baltimore Steelers game first. So the Baltimore Steelers game, obviously.
Baltimore Steelers game? Is it the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game or the Steelers-Ravens game? You did what I did. You did the city team thing. It's all right. I feel your pain.
Baltimore-Pittsburgh. Sorry. Didn't realize we were pitching perfection today.
He always pitches perfection.
But we saw the
Touché.
purpose of saying that's the reason why a lot of teams sit these starters is because you don't know what's going to happen. That was a teammate-on-teammate injury that caused that MCL sprain. It's just so happenstance that's how what happened.
I hate to be an asshole, but win at all costs. So, man down, you're injured. Thank you. Cleveland up.
You will get just the difference. You will get a resident Cleveland fan here. I do my best to be unbiased, but I do tell you guys that I am a Cleveland fan. You won't get that from him.
Man in the middle, Cleveland fan. Let's go, Brian.
100%.
Let's go dogs is how it would be. So, you know what was good about this game? I don't know if you guys watched the Saturday show at all, but did you see on Twitter the Najee Harris, Jalen Warren commercial?
No.
I did not.
So they're doing a commercial for Dollar General. It's hilarious because I call them dollar store running backs all the time. Wow. So the fact that they're doing a commercial for Dollar General, I was just like, do these guys, did I feeling what it's really like out there? But that's a big miss in this game, right? Like they were supposed to have a better run game than I saw them put on the field against the backup Ravens.
But to get in the game, I mean, they didn't stretch the field much. It was a lot of dink and dunk underneath passes to Jalen Warren.
Wet day.
And tight end. But I agree with that, but I don't think Mason Rudolph can stretch the field as much as...
I mean, him and Deontay Johnson would argue that, and so would Pickens the last two games. They would argue that.
They're fast. I'm talking about, outside of broken coverages, yeah. But I'm talking about hitting a guy in stride down the field.
With wet balls. I'll just be honest.
Spice of my life.
Never been on the field, then wet balls, you know.
They'd be hard to catch, man.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And actually, when you saw the turnovers, like he bobbled a snap and it looked like it just popped right out of his hand. So when you actually watch that game, it's kind of funny about the wet balls coming because there it goes. Like he literally squeezed it and it was gone. But what I didn't like about that game was the fact that Jalen Warren wasn't as dynamic as I expected against the backup defense. Now, I will say there was a high upside for the Ravens in this game, and we called this guy in the pre-draft. Trenton Simpson.
Yeah.
Trenton Simpson popped off in that game, looked great in coverage, looked good in tackling, very dynamic as a linebacker for the Ravens, and he hasn't seen the field much this year, but I think now playing that game, he's going to see the field a lot more.
He was from Clemson, right? Or is that Miami? I can't remember.
I don't remember. You know me when it comes to recalling schools. I suck with it.
Me
Hold
too.
on.
I didn't go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so like that's kind of like what I was excited about in that game. Tyler Huntley,
Clemson.
Tyler Huntley, free agent next year, and Mason Rudolph, both free agents next year. They're kind of making that. It's their Matt Flanning right now, right? They're doing their best to try to get signed by another team or get a starting opportunity.
And this, I see a lot of Steelers fans saying, "Oh, Mason Rudolph is so good." If Mason Rudolph was this good, then where was he the last 5 years or 4 years? Because he couldn't beat Ben out. You couldn't beat Pickett out. They drafted the guy in the first round over you. So I don't. Mason Rudolph.
He couldn't beat Duck Hodges out.
Yeah, he's not carrying this team to a playoff win. I hate to tell you.
I mean, he couldn't even beat a duck
I don't
caller.
think they make playoffs regardless of how this happens. But The Steelers need to either go after like a Gardner Minshew, Baker Mayfield in the offseason. They need to get somebody.
Russell Wilson is kind of the talk right now.
Cooper Rush.
He's not wrong. Cooper Rush only signed a 1-year deal.
I thought it was a 3-year with that Dallas.
No, I think it was a 1-year deal with Dallas. You can look that up. You have a computer. I'm pretty sure it was a 1-year extension with Dallas because they needed a backup for the year behind Dak. But that's not a bad idea. I just don't know if he fits their system. But then again, we don't know who fits their system because they went through Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky, and all of those quarterbacks are slightly similar but somewhat different. So, and Mason Rudolph, like I said, couldn't beat out. Pardon my language there. He couldn't beat out Duck Hodges, who 1 year and out. He couldn't beat out your boy that went to Minnesota, Josh Dobbs. He was there for 2 years out. I mean, he couldn't beat out Mitch 2 years. He's been there. Couldn't beat out Kenny Pickett. I mean, we all know he couldn't beat out Ben at the end of his career. So
Mason Rudolph he's hitting at the right time for the Steelers. It's the heart of the team is what's winning right now. I don't think it's quarterback play.
So Kelly, here's the issue with taking Brock Ewers. Or not Brock Ewers. What's his first name?
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers. Thank you. Here's the issue with taking Quinn Ewers is it's not about can they not take him. It's about what do they need at that time in the draft? And they're so far back in the draft now because their potential of making playoffs that's dangerous for a reach. And right now the conversation is that there might be 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 15. I don't think so personally, but there might be.
Maybe 4. But that's why I'm saying they should go after a Gardner Minshew type of guy because Gardner's on a 1-year contract.
Mason Rudolph is the experience within the locker room, so I think that's what they're reaching for is that.
Maybe 1 more year out of him, you think?
Yeah, I mean.
So how do you shape and mold your quarterbacks to the way that you want? Because, you got to think Ben was in this position for, 17 years, 18 years?
A long time.
So with that going forward, you got a young locker room, a young receiver room. So how do you mold these players because Kenny Pickett, I'm sorry, he's still like high school mindset. So
you're not wrong, though.
It's actually, that's a perspective I never really thought of because that, to me, you know what that says? You have to keep Tomlin.
Exactly.
Well, you have to keep Tomlin because...
I'm not, contract aside, right? Because me and you have talked about how messed up that locker room is.
Together. He's keeping the locker room together.
Well, and that's what he's saying. I completely disagree with that. But if that's the case...
He's keeping that locker room together. Mike Tomlin can avert catastrophe well in the locker room with the Steelers. He's had a lot of big names.
I find that hard.
He's had a lot of big names in that locker room at some points. I mean, the Big Ben controversy with the allegations that came out of that, he had to deal with that.
He wasn't there.
No, he was.
He wasn't.
I thought it was his rookie year. He had dealt with
that was Cowher.
Was it the last year of Cowher then?
It was Cowher, yeah. Nice try, though.
I thought it was the...
I'll stick to this the day I die. Tomlin is playing off of Cowher's coach straps.
Without a doubt. I mean, Cowher has a better playoff record than Mike Tomlin.
Just say what playoff record? Tomlin hasn't had a playoff record in 10 years, right? It's been 2,600 days since they've been in the playoffs.
5, something like that.
2,600 days since they've been in the playoffs. So that's 5 years, I think. I think you're right.
I don't know. I don't know.
365 divided by.
They played us in the playoffs Ben's last year.
But I do agree that, Kelly, that this is one of the best quarterback drafts in recent history. But we also have seen that in other drafts. And if you look back at the Josh Allen draft, I mean, we could argue that a lot of those guys are out, right? There's only one left, and it's Josh Allen. Baker's fighting for that starting position. That's a tough one.
Baker has always been fighting. I'm sorry. You're a small quarterback, and you're just trying to fight your way uphill. By all means, you're doing a great job for the Buccaneers right now. But
yeah, he'd be stupid to leave the Buccaneers too.
I think the Bucs would be stupid to let him go because where they're at in the position, you're in another situation next year of fighting for that draft again. Another team that might need a quarterback in this draft. They going to reach?
You got to pay him. And to answer your question, Kelly, I would say May is the only guy that's going to drop.
Thank you. I agree with your statement.
I don't see Nick dropping Daniels, Penix, Williams. I don't.
Here's the reason why I see May not dropping, and it's because right now, if May drops, Caleb Williams is taken. And a lot of people think Drake May is the next best quarterback.
Nah,
I didn't say we think that. I said a lot of people think that. And right now, if you look at Washington fans and Washington front office, we don't know who they're going to hire at coach. But right now, it's between May and Williams for their quarterback, a lot of people are saying, which I think is crazy. You know me. I said stick with Sam Howell. But they think 100% that they're taking a quarterback in this draft. All right, so let's move on out of this game. And implications in that game. Steelers won. So the Steelers now need a Jacksonville loss or a Buffalo loss to be in.
Yes.
Either or, not both, either or.
Either or.
Okay, so moving on to the next game. This was the Houston going into Indy. When you're in, Houston has won. They now surpass Jacksonville. They own the first place in their division. Whether Jacksonville wins or loses, Houston is in the playoffs. All right, so anything you saw outside of Jonathan Taylor being a dog in the final week of the season? Dude's a beast.
Nico Collins popped off. CJ Stroud popped off.
Freaking Stroud.
Do you think CJ Stroud took back the Rookie of the Year reins from
We'll find out Sunday. Today.
I do believe yes. The
I
amount
agree.
of numbers,
I
and
think
stats that
so.
this young guy has composure. He is phenomenal.
You're
He was
speaking.
20.
He is
You're
phenomenal.
speaking. Who was phenomenal?
CJ Stroud.
All right,
Phenomenal.
I agree. So C.J. Stroud, 4,108 yards is his season. Third most by rookies of all time. 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That is ridiculous stats. That is 4-to-1 ratio on touchdowns. And by the way, the first 3 games, I don't believe he threw a touchdown.
No, and he did not. But just real quick, I want to just bounce on this real quick for the show.
Bounce.
You called D'Amico Ryan
We almost
going
did that consecutively.
to the Texans. I love that signing. We both love the C.J. Stroud signing. Now you have a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback, taking the Houston Texans to the playoff in their first year.
My thing is, how long can this tenure last?
I think it's nothing but uphill.
Yes.
There's nothing but there. You've seen I think this is the worst you've seen of this team personally with the injuries they've had. Tank Dell is a huge loss for them vertically.
Hey, we both had the Texans at the bottom.
Did we?
Yeah. But
You're wrong.
as the season happened, I constantly said I can see the Texans winning this division. C.J. Stroud had played lights out. No one saw Nico Collins doing what Nico Collins was doing.
No, Nico Collins in his first 2 years, I think, didn't even have 1,000 yards.
We
This
didn't
is his
think
third
Dalton
year.
Schultz was going to be that much of an impact on this offense, and he became a huge impact.
It took him 6 weeks. It took him to get
Singletary
comfortable.
too, right? Like,
But what did I say? I told you. I said Singletary is good, but the problem is the Buffalo system doesn't allow him to run.
all right, so we don't have to talk
That's
about this game too much. Obviously, we said Houston win, you're in. They won. They
Yeah,
are now
and-
10-7 to end the season.
And not to hate on Nick, Shane Steichen at all. Another rookie head coach who did very well with the injuries at quarterback. Won 9 games with Gardner Minshew. That is a great start for a rookie head coach. And that's another team where I think
Johnny,
this
did you
division's
bet
gonna
that?
get stronger. I mean,
I
you
did
got
not.
3 good teams.
Johnny G on the mic. Did you bet that, brother? Because we don't have that graphic, and you weren't here. I did say that before the
been saying
show
that, yes,
that he
yes.
looks like D'Amico Ryans right now. He has the complete and utter look. Too bad you didn't have like his
They're
whole like
probably plus,
posture
like,
because you could have done an
2,000.
impersonation today for D'Amico.
I have the created player black man head, so I'm gonna just roll with it.
Created player.
I can look like 5 different black people at like different times of the day.
Created, like he is the Madden, like that's the face I want right there.
He's the coach.
I can't do this. All right, thank you for being here today. That's appreciated. So yeah, like the good thing about Indy, right? Or not Indy, Houston. The good thing about Houston is that they are the 5th team of all time to have a first-year head coach and a first-year quarterback to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and guess what? That trade they did during the draft, it's worked out because guess what? It's a late pick, baby, so it's not going to hurt them at all. You got Will Anderson and you got C.J. Stroud. They won that draft.
Will Anderson's
without a
look
doubt.
good. Yep, I agree. Well, there's another team that may have won that draft, and they're also in the playoffs too. So we'll get out of here, and we will get into the first set of games for the week. We'll get through the ones, and then we will go into the fun segment that I know you've been trying to figure out all day because he saw the stat line, and it's kind of sitting here on the screen and irritating the hell out of him. So we'll get into the first game of the day. We have Tampa Bay going into Carolina. Baker wins it. He's in. Johnny, give me what you think about this game outside of Carolina's trash, because this record kind of says that.
I feel like Baker's going to about 250 plus yardage wise. Carolina's defense is lackluster, so this is a easy game. But you're going into the playoffs, so it's like, hey, there's no game in NFL that's easy. You just gotta 4 quarters. Let's see what's going to happen.
All right, man. I appreciate that take. How about you, Mr. Wheels?
People call me Baker hater. This isn't any ill will towards Baker, but give me Carolina. I think Bryce Young and company is going to finish the year on I guess you can say a good note with a win.
I like the strong take.
But, I don't see them struggling that bad. I think the secondary will step up. I think there'll be 2 picks this game, but I do think they'll have 250. I think Baker's just going to struggle.
So it's a Mike Evans game still?
Yeah, Mike Evans, I think it's just, looks like a game that a lot of people are just, they're going to win. No doubt. I don't see it. I don't like this game. It's a weird matchup. I just don't like it.
All right. Just an FYI, you took Carolina over the Bucs. I am completely okay with that, but I'm not going to go against that because the Bucs win, they're in. They have to win this game. Yes. The Saints are playing Atlanta, which is a harder win for the Saints. So, and to be honest, if the Saints lose and Atlanta wins, I'm pretty sure the Bucs are still in.
Which I hope happens. So I don't see them winning.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I don't disagree.
Exactly, Johnny. You're right. Bucs need to not throw away the key.
One thing I'm gonna say, and I'm not letting Johnny get away with this. Carolina's defense is still a top 10 defense in the league. They are a very good defense. They still have some of the better pass rushers in the league, but I would argue that Tampa Bay has been struggling all year at letting Baker sit in the pocket. Everybody's been getting to him.
Because everybody's figured out Baker's little niche. Play action. I'm sorry. If you catch up on that play action, then, hey, at 6 foot, 5'11", those little legs could only move so fast.
He's like 5'10" on a good day.
Yeah. Hey, he's taller than me, so.
Yeah. He's got cleats on. Let's go give me 6 foot.
He's as tall as Bryce Young.
4.4.
It's the quarterback battle between the shorts. All right.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of incentive games, obviously.
So right now, Tampa Bay is favored by 4.5 points going into Carolina. The spread is 36.5. I'm going to give you this game. I'm going to say Tampa Bay at 27. I didn't take 28. 27-21 Tampa Bay. I still think Carolina does score in this game, but I think it's going to be a long tossing game because Winfield's been struggling a little bit this year. And I know he got snubbed, so he might step up. Because he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl.
I said it right.
You did. You didn't say Antonio.
Antonio?
Yeah, you haven't seen... Jag hasn't seen any of the shows to know that you constantly call him Antonio. It drives me insane. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one, to be honest with you.
And obviously, so everybody on these teams are starting that are healthy, obviously. There's no one sitting in these games. Like I said, I think Bryce Young's going to have a good game. I think they're going to end on a good note. And I hope he does. As much hate as Bryce Young's getting, it's not deserved.
Good call, too, by the way. No one is sitting in these games. And you know who could have a great game here? It could be another Rachaad White game. Rachaad White has been popping off all season. Yeah. He looks really good. And he has taken over that Leonard Fournette role. And he has proven that he is the back to beat in that offense, and he looks really good.
Yeah, and that was another great draft pick by the Buccaneers. They always somehow can find a running back late in drafts, I feel like, the last few years.
I don't know. What do you mean the last few years?
Rachaad White was a...
but that's one running back.
Well, you got to think of... They had Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones was another good running back.
Did they draft Ronald?
Yeah, they drafted Ronald Jones.
Okay.
But he was still the number 2 behind Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
So
Leonard Fournette was drafted, I think 12?
They didn't draft him.
They didn't draft him.
Jacksonville drafted him.
Jags. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
No, that's why I was asking.
Ronald Jones, I know, was drafted by the Buccaneers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ronald Jones had a good couple of years. I don't disagree with that.
And then...
But I won't say they always find running backs because I'm trying to think who else they've really had.
Well, there was one dude. He was like the power hamster.
Muscle Hamster wasn't Tampa Bay. Doug Martin was Tampa Bay?
Yeah, Doug Martin was Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he was Tampa Bay. You're right. Doug Martin was Tampa Bay.
Those are the guys that just, they kind of.
He's called the Muscle Hamster. He's like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, they kind of find the same.
Jacked.
He was huge. He was a beast in college, though, man.
A cool $1 million if Baker makes the playoffs. You make $1 million?
I wish.
I don't make $1 million. No. Turn Jag up a little bit. Turn him up a little bit. I mean,
probably need to
he's
speak into
yellow.
the mic more.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Hey, buddy.
he's on the non-powered mic. I didn't want to give him too much power over here. All right, that we'll move on from that. We'll get into the Homer game of the week. Baker will make money, by the way. By the way, Kelly, I'll give you my contract for Baker right now for Tampa Bay. I've told Wheels this. I've said this on the show a few times. He is going to get a 3-year deal, probably close to $90 million. You're looking at $35 million a year, roughly.
Which I completely agree with.
That's kind of what I see for Baker, the way he's played this year. The defense has been lackluster. They haven't been able to stop teams from scoring. That's the reason they've lost games. I don't think it's Baker's fault. Baker's actually had a phenomenal beginning of the year, but that's where I see if Tampa Bay wants to keep Baker, I think that's where his contract sits. Or he could go to Atlanta for that money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If not, there's going to be a team that pays him regardless.
The Steelers are not going to pay him.
No, I'm not saying the Steelers. I'm saying Atlanta, the Broncos.
Yeah, Denver's a rough one. I don't know how much to say about Denver.
I don't think Sean Payton and Baker Mayfield go like match good together.
Sean Payton's a prude, so
I agree. I think the bigger the personality, the worse it's going to be.
I don't like Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton maybe has 1-2 more years left.
I'm telling you, and
I don't like the way they handled that, but we'll get into that.
You made a great statement the other day. Was that Russell to Atlanta. And the reason I like Russell to Atlanta is because Russell fits Atlanta's system, right? Like he's very mobile as a quarterback.
And
he has the ability to sling it. But I also like the trade-off, right? So like they don't trade much. They give them Taylor Heineke, right? You send Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, like a first.
You don't even need to send a first. You just got to pay the contract.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I got a deep question for you.
And Sean Payton can do something with Heineke until he finds his quarterback.
So you think Russ is going to go to Atlanta to like look after Future's kids with Sierra? I couldn't help that one. I'm sorry.
Is he in Atlanta?
Yes.
He's such a simp. He is such a simp.
Hey. Somebody got to look after them kids. You know, that's God's given gift right there.
Let's ride.
This is the culture I'm missing in my life right here. All right, yeah, so we'll get on to the Homer game. Can you do me a favor? Turn his mic down just a tad bit because I'm echoing into it.
Right, he's yellow.
I lied. Wrong game. Cleveland going to Cincinnati and playing that game. What do you guys think about this one? Don't all jump at once.
Jag, you go first.
Okay.
You're the homer.
Cleveland is taking this one. I'm sorry with Cincy's backup quarterback. What is it?
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning. I was going to call him Downing because he's going down.
We have Jeff Driscoll starting.
He was the old quarterback for the Bengals.
So Jake Browning's going down, and I'm curious to see if are we going to play our starting defense?
No. The Myles Garrett's not playing this game,
Her?
and Zadarius Smith is not playing this game.
Okay, so we still need pretty decent edge rushers. I feel like our second string is still decent enough.
You should have
Kevin Stefanski said, and I quote, "I can't sit everyone."
Correct, but I think Alex Wright. I think Alex Wright's still going to play. I think Dalvin Tomlinson's going to play. I think. What did I say? Togiai is probably going to come in and play.
And the reason you don't...
Anthony Walker's out, by the way, for the rest of the year.
Yes.
Oh, great.
He just went to the IR.
Awesome. The reason you don't play
Not
Myles...
really awesome.
I know, but the reason you don't play Myles and Zadarius is what happened with TJ Watt yesterday.
But you give him a quarter. I give you a quarter to go out there and stat pat.
It scares me.
You don't need this game.
All these freaking injuries.
I'm a stat pat person, so
but
my idea...
But Myles... So yeah, maybe Myles wants to play because he's playing for Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, so maybe Myles wants to play.
But Myles is not a selfish player. We know that.
I agree. But maybe Myles is like, I don't care. I'm not going to get hurt. Who's going to stop me?
I bet TJ Watt did the same thing yesterday.
Yeah, he got hurt by his own man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
his own man's big butt slid into his knee.
And Zadarius Smith have ran into each other many times this season, and it has been scary. They have been down, so it worries
Johnny,
me,
I love it, man. You're right. The 4-week IR puts Anthony Walker to come back on the Super Bowl week.
Let's go.
We have to make it there with no linebackers, right?
We have Jock.
I was gonna say we got.
Is Jock still healthy?
Jock is healthy.
Okay. He's got to play this week.
No, you don't. I'll go out there.
A quarter.
Put me in for a play coach.
You have to play him this week.
No.
Who's going to play a linebacker?
Practice squad. It doesn't matter. You're already in the playoffs. Who cares? Let them run all over.
You know what I do? If I fake a death on the field and get out of this game. I DeMar Hamlin this game.
That's messed up.
That's
messed up.
The game.
If I'm the Browns, right? Like I don't even want to play this game because 28% of my team is on the IR.
I don't. Practice squad players. Let's go. You're up.
Hey, they still get paid. So, yes, you're up. This is your chance. You want to make a name for yourself in NFL? Let's go.
Johnny,
Yeah, exactly.
you're not wrong with that statement.
No matter what,
but
we're
here's the problem that I have, right? Here's the problem that I have.
Stat Pat.
That the Kansas City Chiefs lose, that we now play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Good, because we'll win. Kansas City
Oh,
Chiefs
I kind of prefer to play the Chiefs over the Texans, personally.
Yeah, the Chiefs can't catch balls.
No.
And we have one of the best secondaries in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer to play the Chiefs over the Texans.
And if you could stop Pat
'Cause
Mahomes.
Well, keep in mind, we played the Texans without Stroud
Did you see,
or Nico.
Did you see the meme for the Chiefs?
What's that?
Trent McDuffie had 81 targets and only allowed 17 receptions. And Kadarius Toney was targeted 81 times and had 17 drops.
I don't know. Is that a meme?
Yeah. He's the second best.
I guess.
Like, the fact we have 17... I've never seen 17 drops in a season.
Yeah, you have. We're Browns fans.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What was his name?
The guy who went to the Eagles. Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if he went
Greg
to
Little, not Greg Little, wasn't
Yeah.
good. Was it?
Greg Little. Greg Little.
God,
Yep.
look at that. Just like,
Greg Little had like 50% drops on the season, was targeted like 80 times. I swear to dude, that dude probably dropped 50 balls on the season.
I'm sorry. If y'all should let me in the NFL if I could do that too. Like, shit.
Could you imagine making league minimum to drop half of everything you've thrown?
Man.
I'll go do it.
I'm sending picks like it's the NBA.
You can do what Juju does.
Yeah.
Just hold on to people. All right. So I agree with you, right? Like I kind of agree that the Browns defense, the depth in their defense is still good enough to stop the Bengals. I do have one caveat to bring up in this game. Jamar Chase.
I knew you were gonna fucking say it.
Jamar Chase, brother. He is as bad as Dez Bryant right now with that talent. It's driving me insane. If you are this good, you need to understand that it's a 53-man roster. You can't go out there and steal money from guys who are on the field more than you every year. Every year. And by the way, he's talking shit playing with a broken shoulder pretty much.
Wait,
Yeah, and all it's gonna take is Greg Newsome to smack that booty.
And they don't even... Is he playing in this game? I swear to God, if he's playing in this game, whoo, that is stupid by Cincy. Because they can't even play playoffs. They're out.
Oh, you got to realize that they have another problem this offseason. That's paying T. Higgins.
No. It's paying Jamar Chase because Jamar said he wanted his money before T.
Well, you can sit
Hold up.
down because what have you done? You've been injured every year.
No. Jamar said he wanted his money first before next year.
Then you trade him. I don't care.
Yes.
I think you move on from him.
Yes.
I think you kind of have to,
He
right?
also said he was better than JJ. What stats is he better than JJ other than I think his rookie year?
Injuries.
Because you've been injured every year. You and Joe Burrow must share the same trainer because God, you guys missed about the same time.
Well, that's
No wonder you played together in
LSU?
college.
LSU. I was gonna say LSU. Yeah.
Connected at the hip.
I would argue that at this point, LSU has fake receivers and Ohio State has the real receivers.
Well, I mean, OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Jamar Chase,
Health.
JJ,
OBJ, health.
OBJ,
Like Jarvis Landry's the only one that's been healthy.
JJ.
I haven't seen
Oh, no,
Jarvis
JJ
Landry in the
JJ
last
hasn't hurt a
year,
little bit,
year and a
but-
half.
What?
Where's Jarvis Landry right now? I haven't seen him last year. Year and a half.
He might be signing with the Browns here
Yeah,
soon.
he's a
Again?
free agent.
So there's rumors that he could be signing with the Browns after the injury to Elijah Moore. I'm hoping not, but
I think Elijah missed just one game. This game and I think the
I
first
don't think
playoff
Elijah
game.
misses this game.
But do
no,
you
you're
sign
right,
him on a
'cause it's like
veteran
a-
minimum?
Yeah, I think he'll come here.
I'll bring him in for $1
veteran.
million. I don't care.
He'll sign here.
I'll bring him in for Flacco money.
He loved Cleveland when he played here.
You know, Cleveland's not a bad place to play for, but
Joe Flacco.
there's
I need to get.
nothing
We
in
need to get
Cleveland
out of
to
this
see.
game
Yeah,
because we're getting hung
Yeah.
here.
So I'm gonna take Cincy. I'm sorry, but I just
That's fine. I've been
gonna be-
wrong. I've been wrong about every AFC North game the last
I'm
3
gonna
weeks.
scratch you like a Bengal.
I've been right like the last 8 weeks I think on the Browns game.
Listen,
So-
I'm the new Jag, so just another guy. Let me remind you, and you're not gonna be right on this one.
All right. We'll come out of this game and we will get into another game that is highly touted this week. You have Minnesota battling for their playoff picture, and Minnesota needs everything to go in their
They're
odds.
out.
They have to They have to win. Green Bay has to lose, or I think Green Bay and Chicago have to tie, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure they're, or maybe I'm wrong about this one.
No, I think
Was it last week?
Yeah, they got out last week. I might be wrong. Hold on. Which happens a lot.
No, you're right. No, you're wrong. They're still on the bubble.
Are they really?
Yeah, 7 and 9.
Come on, make it.
They're 7 and 9. I'm pretty sure if they win and the Packers lose, they might have the in-division record over both of them.
Let me look up. How do the Vikings make the playoffs?
So, but you could say Lions all day, but guess what? The Vikings are starting Big Dick Nick and JJ. KJ, who's the best wide receivers in Dynasty from Ohio State? In Dynasty? Like, if we're talking fantasy-wise, I would probably say this year would probably be Curtis Samuel.
All right, so this is how they...
But in Dynasty, I would probably say Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers coming back.
Chris Olave.
No,
I'd say Garrett Wilson.
I wouldn't say
Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball to him. Garrett Wilson's been a stud all year. And he's had... Who? Zach Wilson?
Oh, no, Garrett.
Chris Olave's
I'm
got
thinking-
Derek Carr. Like, you got
Derek Carr just said he would restructure his contract just to stay and help them get assets. That's big, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? He's not an asset.
So here's...
Oh, you're versing... I like how you're versing LSU. Okay, so I guess if you're going fantasy-wise, they put up stats, but who stays on the field more? And Michael Thomas, again, when you look back in the day, Michael Thomas was the better wide receiver, and he put up phenomenal stats. But if you're talking Dynasty right now, I might argue that... I would argue Ohio State next year. JSN. JSN next year.
JSN, his head has popped off a little bit this year. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson... who plays for Washington?
Here, Kelly, I'll make an unofficial bet for you, right? So, like, we'll do like a beer bet on this one if neither of us are pregnant when next time we see each other.
I mean, you might.
So we'll do a beer bet on this one, and we'll say
He's constantly pregnant.
all Ohio State receivers have more fantasy points than all LSU receivers in 2024.
That's hard. Are you counting defenders?
I said LSU receivers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Oh, well, Bo, change your picture. All right, so Bo, all Ohio State receivers will have more fantasy points than all LSU receivers in 2024. There's your bet.
That's going to be a true statement because LSU receivers, like we said, they get hurt every, fifth
But you
play?
have the number one receiver in the NFL.
Marvin Harrison.
Every fifth play, they get hurt.
Oh, you're talking about JJ. I'm sorry.
Jay, you have the number one receiver in the NFL.
So
So,
Marvin Harrison comes in.
but here's the thing: even if
Chicago.
it's a hard bet to make, and I know he probably won't make it because he knows there's 10 freaking Ohio State receivers and there's like 5 LSU receivers.
LSU is good for like.
So like
LSU
he
is-
knows it.
LSU has switched to more of a secondary and kind of tackle area.
But can you explain to me how Minnesota makes the playoffs? Did you look it up?
Yeah. So
Okay.
step 1, Vikings need to beat the Lions.
Must win. Okay.
Must win.
Vikings must win this game.
Step 2, the Bears must beat the Packers.
All right. So Green Bay has to lose, which I said.
Yep.
Okay.
Step 3, the Cardinals have to beat the Seahawks.
Seahawks have to lose. All right. That's a good tough one.
And
Okay.
step 4, it's a two-parter. So Falcons have to beat the Saints, and the Panthers have to beat, or no, the Falcons have to beat the Saints, or the Panthers have to beat the Buccaneers. So one of those two games they're in.
Right. So the reason for that is because the winner of that division, that entire division is ahead of them. Right.
Yeah.
So this is tough for Minnesota. I'm just gonna put this out there. But they do have a shot. They do have a very slim potential of being in. And me and you have already had this conversation a little bit. We see Chicago possibly upsetting Green Bay.
Yeah.
I said to you, I see Seattle as the 7 seed. I said this a while
Yes,
ago.
you did. You said it a couple weeks back.
I'm going to say now that Minnesota, no matter whether they win or not, will not make playoffs. I'll say that right here, right now.
I don't think they will either.
I agree with Johnny that Detroit has a good team, but Minnesota's playing their entire offense. I would argue that Detroit Lions are not. There's no Jameer. Is he stepping on the field?
I don't, because you're going for the 2 seed. If you win, you have to hope that the Cowboys lose, the Eagles win, because then you would have the number 2 seed over the Eagles. But if the Cowboys win, then you don't have the 2 seed over Dallas because of last week's game.
Are the Cowboys an away game?
Craig Reynolds was moved to the active roster. So I would argue that they're going to put the ball in Craig Reynolds' hands over Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
They play at Washington.
Yeah, Dallas. Dallas is
I
in
forgot about
Washington.
that, yeah.
Dallas in Washington.
So that's the hard.
I do average points per player. We've moved on.
Are we totaling the average? Because it's the same. Like, if we're totaling the average, like, obviously JJ averages 20 points a week, so he's gonna win if he's on the field.
I would just
Like, I mean, all right. So, give me guys that you want to look out for betting wise in this game. Because I would assume Laporta's probably not going to be the guy. It's going to be Brock Wright is probably going to play more tight end in this game.
Josh Reynolds has incentives. He needs a touchdown and 36 yards to hit bonuses. So I would take both those betting wise.
Okay, so Josh Reynolds for a touchdown and plus 40.
Yep. And then I would
Watch
also
him get 37 yards and just
He needs
dick
30.
over
He
it.
needs 30. He needs 36. So
Well, that's why I said plus 40, but like he's gonna get like 37 to
So,
dick over the betting line.
I would also take JJ and Addison in this game, both, to have over 50 yards. I think this is gonna.
I'll
be
take
an
JJ
air,
plus 80.
This is gonna be an air game.
I take JJ plus 80.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, because Hawkinson's hurt. Yeah, I like that because Hawk's out. He tore his, I think,
ACL or something like that.
which sucks.
Yeah, Addison, is he healthy? Is he coming back?
The last I saw, he was a healthy. He did participate in practice all week. But honestly, I didn't follow it too much because fantasy's over in all my leagues.
Well, yeah, but the show isn't.
Unless you're in a stupid league where you play in week 18, then I feel bad for you. Unless you had Nico Collins yesterday who put up like 50.
Jordan Addison is listed as questionable and is playing today. Source said December 30. That's last week. Come on, rep. Give me something updated. So that was last week, so I would assume he's playing this week. All right, so Addison, JJ, and that's about it, right? Like, unless you think KJ Osborne or Brandon Powell are going to do anything in this game. No? Okay.
No.
How about our boy that got signed there 2-3 weeks ago, running back?
Michael Carter Jr.?
No, Minnesota.
No, he went to Arizona, right?
The dude that went to Minnesota, you've been hyping up the last 2-3 weeks. It's like, you got to give it to the hot hand. Got to give it to the hot hand.
I don't know.
God, he's behind Madison. Come on, bro.
Ty Chandler?
Ty Chandler. Thank you.
Yeah. I think he's taken over the reins.
Okay, so Madison's backup.
Madison's backseat.
Madison's the backup then.
I think you've seen the ceiling with Madison all year. He's good for about 80 yards a touchdown max, whereas Ty Chandler is more explosive. He's a little bit faster. You know, he can get out in speed.
1-2 punch
pace.
then.
Yeah.
1-2 punch then.
Madison is your goal line. Ty Chandler gets you down there.
All right.
Third down back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Which, like we said, most teams have turned to a dual running back room now. It's the guy that gets you downfield, and like Nick Chubb.
This team is not that team, but look for them in the offseason to look for a running back.
Like Nick Chubb would get you downfield. Kareem Hunt / Drum Ford gets you in the end zone.
All right.
How it has happened this year.
So Johnny, who do you have winning this game?
I'm going Detroit.
Detroit.
I don't know. It's other than
Is that just a gut feeling?
that's a good feeling.
Okay.
Straight gut feeling.
Gut feeling? How about you, Wheels?
Give me Detroit. We were on the phone the other day. I did say where Jared Goff has struggled. I think
Sorry, Johnny. I'm going to have to reference Jag as Jag and Johnny as Johnny. My apologies.
I'm gonna have to say that I think Jared Goff has a big game. I think they win by 10. I think Amon-Ra has a 100-yard, 8-reception game with a
Jared
touchdown.
Goff playing?
Yeah, Jared
Yes.
Goff's playing.
Okay. That's
Because-
stupid.
They're going. They're trying to win the 2 seed.
That's stupid.
Hey, you need that potential up there. So
Okay, so no, you guys are good. The reason I say that's stupid is because when you look at the playoffs, right? Let me try to pull it up for you guys really quick.
Do it.
When you look at the playoffs,
I got a song for it.
is that the updated one? That is not the updated
No, it's
one.
not.
All right, so let me give you this one. This is the updated one.
No, that's updated.
No, it's not.
I don't know. You're right. My bad.
Let me get. Maybe that was the updated.
No, that was because you're the Steelers. Yeah, that's the updated.
Oh, yeah,
one.
that is the updated one. Okay. So when you look at the updated bracket, Detroit loses, right?
Yes.
And you would say that they play Tampa Bay. You want to play the Bucks or the Rams?
No, they would.
I'd play the Bucks.
Okay, so right now, if Detroit,
Bucks are division winners, guys.
correct.
But they wouldn't.
Oh, yeah,
pay-
you're right. Okay, so you're right.
They can't really
wait.
move. They're stuck at 3 unless they win. They're at 2.
Okay, so they play the Rams, Philly, or Dallas.
Yes.
Because if Dallas wins, they hold that seed, right? They clinch their division if they win. Philly takes the 2 spot, which means if Detroit loses, no. Right now they're in the 2 seed.
Yeah. No, they're in the 3. They're in the 3.
No, because the Bucks are in the 3 seed. 4. Sorry, 4 seed. Yeah, you're right.
4. Because you got to remember the Niners aren't there.
But if I'm Dallas, I don't care to win.
No,
because I'll play the Rams.
I'd rather play the Rams with the Packers. If I'm Dallas, I match up better against the Rams. I have a
question for you because I see Seattle getting in. Do you want to play the Rams or the Seattle? I'd still play the Rams.
Seattle.
I'd still play the Rams.
I'd still rather play the Rams
because Seattle's a gunslinging team.
You're not at home. The Seattle and the Rams aren't home. Yeah. So yeah, I'd rather play the Rams.
So like that's. Who cares about this game for Detroit?
That's why I don't understand what Detroit. I get it. They're trying to go for the 2 seed, but
that's just how I feel. So.
I think if this game is kind of over by halftime or they're up, they're going to sit everybody. I mean, this, like I said, this is a reason why you get.
So you don't like betting on anybody in Detroit in this game because you see if there's a potential of a big loss or a big win, they're just starting to bench guys.
I said obviously, Josh Reynolds to get 40 and a touchdown.
That's the only guy you'd touch.
And I said Amon-Ra 100 yards, touchdown, 8 receptions. I think he pops off.
There's no way I leave Amon-Ra on the field that long. You need him in the playoffs.
Amon-Ra had that in the first half.
You need him in the playoffs.
Dude, in the first half, Vikings secondary is bad.
Amon-Ra in the first half.
Nico Collins had like 100 yards.
That's pretty funny though. I like that.
The Vikings secondary is so bad.
All right, I'll take
outside of Byron Murphy.
I'll take the upset in this game. I'll go Minnesota in this game. And speaking of that, I know you didn't have your pen to write stuff down today.
No, I don't remember who we took.
We'll do it at the end. But as long as you at least have a semblance of what's coming on after this. So New York Jets going into the Patriots. Garbage plays garbage. We are now playing for draft picks and not playoff spots. Johnny, give me what you got here. That's gonna take time.
I know. Jets. Bill Belichick hasn't been where he needs to be. That whole offensive scheme is left field. Bailey is okay.
You know what by the way, that's so disrespectful. The whole offensive scheme is left field?
Field.
Is that because you're right-handed?
Yes.
That it's left field?
Yes.
That is such a slap in the face to lefties.
Mm-hmm. My brother was a lefty, so.
And he's on my left side. I mean,
know.
he needs to understand this.
You're on my right.
This is true. This is true. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think Bill Belichick, offensive scheme-wise, has it for the Jets defense. The Jets defense has been fucking amazing. Bailey is going to throw 3 picks, and I'm sorry, that's just
Bailey Zapp 3 picks.
Yes.
Do you know Conklin has had the most receiving yards by a tight end like the last decade on the Jets?
The Jets, yeah.
That's insane. That's insane.
So yeah, Robert. I can never say his last name. Shalala.
Who?
The Jets.
Saleh.
Oh, Robert Saleh. I was like Robert Shenanigans.
I can't. I can't really read, but like the way he holds down his defense compared to the Patriots offense is going to be nasty.
I like how you keep referencing it to the Patriots offense because neither of these offenses are good and both the defenses are great.
It's gonna be like watching fucking paint dry.
So you're arguing that the Jets have a better defense than the Patriots do?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I understand that. They have better weapons on defense, whereas Belichick gets the best out of mid-level players, which we talk about all the time. So I wouldn't disagree with that. Schottenheimer. Frozen again. You're frozen again. No, sorry. I don't see it frozen on our end, so I apologize about that.
Me, the Pats. Like I said, Bill Belichick, he has an earning to hurt, to hurt New York.
Do you remember the Jets game last year that was like 9-6 or 10-6, 10-3?
It was like watching paint dry.
I see this again.
That's why I said it's like watching paint dry.
Yeah, I can see it. Oh, you did say that?
Yeah.
I thought you saw the paint drying on the wall. That's why.
It's gonna be 12. Oh, there is. Yeah, it's gonna be 12-9.
It's gonna be a great high school game.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I think high school has more offense. I'm not gonna lie. What? 6 turnovers in this game?
Yeah.
6 turnovers in this game? Can you bet the over/under on turnovers in a game?
I don't know, but I'm sure you can.
There's
a way.
We need to find this one.
If Vegas wants to make money, they'll find a way to do it.
But here's what I'll do. I'll take Belichick to win this game as a coach and the team loses.
So,
Because
you
I
take the
think he
Jets
will not
then?
take the Jets. He's writing down the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think the Jets win this game. I don't even know who's quarterback. Is it Zach Wilson? Is he back? Is
No,
he
I think he's still on
Trevor
concussion
Siemian?
protocol, so it's our children of the poorest going to be quarterback.
Trevor Siemian will be quarterback? You guys are killing me today. All right, Trevor Siemian's quarterback. Garrett Wilson has 100 yards
The beer guy is going to be quarterback.
and 2 fumbles. The beer guy?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. They might have a better opportunity to win the game.
Bobby Boucher, man, let's go.
Bobby Boucher. All right. Yeah, this game doesn't matter. We're not even going to talk about it at this point. We'll actually talk about both these teams a lot in the
Half these
offseason.
games don't matter, so it don't matter. Like, we're almost through
That's
half.
not true. This game matters to Minnesota.
Give,
And actually, if the Saints win, the Saints can be in if the Bucks lose.
give
And you have the Bucks losing.
You're putting a lot on Derek Carr.
me Atlanta, baby. Give me Atlanta.
You're putting a lot on Derek Carr. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, right? Atlanta, they don't even know if they're firing Arthur Smith still.
They should, because he doesn't know how to use Bijan fucking Robinson. I can use Bijan Robinson. Here you go. Run the ball 40 times. Let's go.
You think if they use Bijan like they use JT and the
They would
Colts,
have like
they would
3
just
more
win more?
wins. They probably have 3 more wins. He ran it 1 time in a game. Once.
He was sick. They got fined for that
Guess
game.
what?
They got fined for that game because they didn't list him as questionable.
You're in the NFL. You're getting paid. Stop being a puss.
But they did get fined for that game because they didn't list him as questionable.
Because they're idiots. The Atlanta franchise is Atlanta for a reason. They're just moronic. It's a miracle they're 7-9, and luckily they're in a shitty division. If not, they'd probably be like 3. They'd have 3
It's
total
called
wins.
coding crazy.
I used to love Atlanta when they had Vic, man. I don't know what happened. Ever since
I loved
that,
Atlanta when they had Matt Ryan, Julio Jones,
yeah.
Roddy White,
Yeah.
Matt Ryan.
Ever since
God.
the Super Bowl, it's just
Warren Dunn. Yeah.
downhill.
Well, same for Matt Ryan.
And see, this is why they need Russell Wilson. So he'd come in and he'd pamper the whole team.
And I wouldn't
He'd be the
wait,
dad.
Does
You know what's
Atlanta
funny?
have a saying? Atlanta country, let's fly.
That's bad. That's bad. That was cringe. All right. But you know what's funny? I don't disagree with the Russell Wilson thing because I think if you can get a head coach that's strong, right? If you can go get a head coach that's strong, and that's not Arthur Smith. We all know that.
No.
And you can put Russell Wilson on an offense with those weapons. Yeah, that's why I didn't. He said Warren Dunn, and I didn't correct him. Johnny, stop it.
Yeah, it was.
It's all right. It's okay. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Done.
He's not playing anymore, so we all make
I was
mistakes.
going old.
I know. But so if you can get a really good head coach, like you know who? Okay, here's who I love in this
Oh, the
situation.
guy who's gonna die in like 5 years.
No, here's not Belichick. Here's who I love in this situation. Brian Flores goes to Atlanta, gets a head coaching opportunity, right? Or Bieniemy, because I think Bieniemy has a little bit of a whip in him too.
So Bieniemy, I've already had this conversation with you. Bieniemy does not want to be head coach. He's comfortable where he's at. He is.
Prove it.
You
got a tweet from him that says, "I don't want to be a head coach"?
He's interviewed for like 6 head coaching jobs and hasn't.
You know who?
had any.
You know what Atlanta's going to do? You know, and this I put money on it right now. Atlanta's going to go and hire Jim Schwartz, thinking that he's going to fix that team.
Jim Schwartz ain't leaving Cleveland.
Yes, he is. He said he came out in a press conference and said that he's aspiring to be at the best position in the NFL from where he's at
And that's
now.
the Cleveland Browns
No,
defensive
he
coordinator.
wants to be a head coach. He aspires to be more.
He's already done it twice.
It
and
doesn't
hasn't
matter.
done
He wants
anything,
it again.
Dude. I don't get it. Like that's what I'm saying with Bieniemy.
He could just be,
Even
trying to-
Johnny Schwartz wants head coach again. He came out and publicly said it in a press conference.
I don't think he's going to be
I don't
good.
care what you think. It's what he said. It's what he said.
I mean, look at whatchamacallit from the Raiders. He tried it twice and failed.
I don't care what McDaniel did.
He failed.
Schwartz came out and said he wanted it again. And the way he's coaching that defense, what's Atlanta missing? That defense has not stepped up. The way
No,
they're paying
not at
him.
all.
They're paying him.
Do you think he just wants to get away from Stefanski?
No, I think.
No, I actually think he loves the culture in Cleveland. I just think he wants to. Some people just never know their limits. Some people just don't. Like when you go look, they're talking about Dan Campbell again.
No.
Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
They're talking about Dan Quinn again being a head coach, right? Because Dallas's defense has been so phenomenal. They're like, Dan Quinn's going to get an opportunity again. Stop hiring these guys as head coaches. They're not head coaches.
No,
they're
they've
not.
already tried.
You're just good at your scheme.
I don't think Jim Schwartz is either. I'm sorry. I don't.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but my point is Atlanta knows how to shit up, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I see
Okay,
what you're
so
saying.
they're going to go pay Jim Schwartz because of what he's done with a fourth string defense, right? Like,
I mean, they paid what's his name $1 million.
I wouldn't be shocked. And then, but if you were to get a guy like Jim Schwartz, I think who has a whip, and you go get a guy like Russell Wilson who can run an offense, but you need someone to kind of put him in line. I think if you do that, Atlanta could take that 7-9 team and go 14-3. Like, there's so much talent on that team.
Take 2 years, a year or so, but yeah.
Anytime you bring a head coach in, there is a period where you need to figure shit out. I agree.
Tara, I don't think the Chargers are an option because I think Harbaugh's going to the Chargers. I booked that like a month and a half.
Actually,
ago.
Did you hear where Harbaugh wanted to go?
Where?
Carolina.
Why?
Did you hear what your best owner in the league said?
What, David Tepper?
I'm not willing to relinquish enough power to get David Harbaugh. Tepper said that.
Tepper is, what did they say? Tepper is.
By the way, I wanted to shout you out on Twitter.
Just throw the drink.
I wanted to shout you out on Twitter because you've been calling Tepper one of the worst owners in the NFL all year.
Yeah.
All year. I don't know if I wish I had that image on here. We talked about it last week. We talked about it last week.
Just the fact that he hasn't. I don't get how you can screw up a team that had this much talent.
So now that we've gotten so far off topic, right? You have Atlanta winning this game. Yep. What's your score?
Let me go 17-10.
Jag, give me what you got.
Even though I don't like Derek Carr, 14-7.
I love the mediocre quarterback who's been phenomenal in the Raiders and sucks on the Saints. I don't understand it.
Hey, as long as you could be mediocre and get paid $100 million, I'm sorry.
But here's what I'm going to tell you. If Taysom Hill is involved in this offense, Saints win. Saints win. 24-14 Saints.
You got to give Taysom the ball at least 8 times, right? Regardless, whether it's passing.
He needs to be a third of your offense. I don't care how he's out there. He needs to be a third of your offense.
Utility player, I agree.
It's your Bijan Robinson argument, right? If Bijan Robinson isn't taking a third of those offensive snaps and getting the ball,
he creates a problem for defenses.
Yep.
It's hard to scheme for. You're not wrong. Some people may call it stupid to say he's Bijan, but you're not wrong because as soon as he's out there, he creates problems for the defensive line because they don't know what to scheme for at that point. Because you're off, you have a play call, sometimes they audible, and then you're scrambled. That's kind of like where Myles Garrett can just go wherever he wants on the defensive line and they just scramble.
That's also the ugliest owner outside of Robert Kraft.
I'm not.
Robert Kraft looks like the creepy uncle on Thanksgiving.
All right, so Jacksonville going into Tennessee. This was my upset of the week. I said Tennessee was going to win this game.
Take?
I took the Saints.
What's the score?
24-14. Jacksonville going into Tennessee. I said Tennessee was going to upset this team at the beginning of the week, but now because I hate the Steelers so much. And they keep doing this terrible towel. Your quarterback's been shit since you rubbed it on your ass. I'm taking Jacksonville to win this game handedly. 24-10.
I'm going to go 27-7.
Here, Johnny, just for you on this one, I'll give you the over-under on this game, and then you give me your score.
Okay.
This way it'll help you a little bit. Let's see if I can find the game. Okay, so the over-under, Jacksonville's favored by 3.5. Over-under is 41.5. I actually took the under.
I'm going Jacksonville too. So Trevor Lawrence is going to freaking perform. I see 220 from Trevor Lawrence. If he doesn't get hurt, that concussion, you're going to come back, and all it takes is what, 1 or 2 good hits, and you're going to get up a little dizzy. So Travis Etienne, he's going to rush.
He will Tua this shit.
Yeah. Claw him.
He'll take a concussion and just go right back out there. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think, had never missed a game due to all of his injuries in the NFL outside of like 1 week now. So, I mean, I see T-Law. That is the toughest woman I've ever seen step on a field. Ever.
Sunshine.
Wow. You leave Sunshine alone. Okay?
I'm just saying.
What's your score, Jag?
He beats Palomalu's hair all day.
I'm going to go 21-14. Because obviously Derrick Henry is going to score twice.
So we have him losing by at least a touchdown.
Yes.
We all took Jacksonville to cover the spread,
and we all took the under. Which is funny, and Will Levis is healthy, so Will Levis he's a different animal for this offense.
But the problem is, I just think they're going to sit on top of D-Hop all day.
Oh, they are because they need.
Treylon Burks. Did you see that? Did you see that image? The last 4 number 1 picks for the Tennessee Titans have missed like 63% of their games.
Like I said, the last good draft pick they had was A.J. Brown.
I disagree. Peter Skoronski has played phenomenal this year.
No, for wide receivers. For wide receivers.
No, I was just talking their number ones. Their number one overall picks.
I'm sorry.
But I'm just saying their number one overall picks, right? And one's 4 years, one's 3 years, one's 2 years, one's 1 year. They've missed like 60% of their games as a total. That's horrendous.
That's bad.
And that's millions of dollars, right? Because you take a pick in the first round, that's millions of dollars. All right, so we'll move on from this game and take a breather. We're going to get into their segment today. This one's for everybody out there in the chat. Johnny, I hope you're out there. Kelly, I hope you're out there. Bo, hope you're all out there because we're going to get into our favorite segment of the week, and it is, as always, Guess That Player. Guys, so here we go right now. Here, get a. You don't want that one. Here's a celebrate. Oh man, sorry. Thank God we're not on camera because I'm throwing stuff around over here like always. But as always, Guess That Player is here. It is live and in action. You have rookie stats. It doesn't specify year for a reason. Games played on the left, 16 receptions, 101 touchdowns, 5 receiving yards, 1445 as of current. And yards per reception, 14.3. I'm sure a lot of people can guess that. I didn't put the player's helmet on for a reason because I thought it was pretty obvious.
Left side's pretty easy, yeah.
And then on the right, you have games played, 14 receptions, 72 touchdowns, 12 receiving yards, 1473, and yards per reception, 20.5. Well, let Jag try first because he doesn't know one of them.
You're right. Shoesy. I'm gonna go St. Brown for the right side.
I'll give you a hint. This person is creeping on the record today for rookie receiving yards in a single season. That should be a giveaway if you've been paying attention to football.
I already know it. Yeah.
I'll give you a second hint, Jag.
Okay.
He plays in L.A.
Puka Nuka. Puka Nacua.
I like it.
Correct.
Now, all right, so that is correct. Now, I need to know the gentleman on the right. This is the gentleman. This is for you, Wheels, who I told you would not get this over and over again.
It's not Megatron.
He's creeping on his record. That is the record holder.
It's not Mega, is it? Is it Megatron?
The gentleman played in 1960.
Oh Jesus! What team? Just give me a team, maybe. Maybe.
I think he might have played on the same team. Don't do that to me because I was not ready. I was not ready for that.
My buddy Garrett would know this. He's a huge Rams fan. He knows a lot of the old Rams players. I do not. I have no idea on the left side or on the right side. Yeah, Puka for sure on the left. Yeah.
All right, so I will try to. So the gentleman's name, Puka for sure on the left, Johnny, 1960, no idea. Yeah, which I kind of knew that, right? Like I kind of knew that nobody would know that one. All right, so here are the two gentlemen's. I don't know that team color. Bucks?
Is that the Oilers?
No, that's like a red.
That's not the. Like what's his name?
He looked like
so
Alabama.
The gentleman's name is Bill Groman. Okay. And my issue with the Puka Nacua stat for a lot of people, there's a reason that this is here. It is a spiteful behavior by me.
The extra games.
It's 3 extra games. Not just a extra game. Not just 2. 3. 3 extra games. 30 more. Well, actually, it's going to be at least.
It was the Oilers.
Was it the Oilers? Wow.
I'm good.
So it is at least 30 more receptions because one more reception would put him 102 to break the record. So 30 more receptions, and he didn't even have the production in the end zone. And this gentleman's going to get wiped off the record board without an asterisk. That is ridiculous. And he only played 14 games. Could you imagine if this gentleman played 17 games? I'm going to give him at least another 300 yards.
Well,
He's averaging over 110 yards a game.
Yeah. You give him that, and you give him you give him a touchdown more, essentially. So you would have 15 touchdowns and, let's say, 1,800 yards.
That's just crazy to me.
Well, that's like the Jamal Williams touchdown record last year with the extra game.
It's just, like I said, it's just crazy to me for that situation, right?
I don't know. They must have played each other 5 times, Johnny. Because there was only, 18 teams back then?
It
had to be more than that, right?
Down in 1960, there might have been like 24. I think there might have been 24. I'm kind of mad at myself. I can't do this really quick. So, all right. So I'm going to get out of studio mode. And so that's that one. Obviously, Johnny was in the chat, and he was kind of confused on that one, too, because of 1960. Let me give you a better one, a little bit closer to today. This one's for you guys out there. All right. Games played on the left. These are career stats for these gentlemen. I don't think the regular season was more than 10 to 12 games in the regular season. Yeah, it was 14 games. I think it was 14 games in 1960. Career stats, games played on the left, 58. On the right, 44. Targets, 403 on the left, 401 on the right. Receptions, 257 on the left, 264 on the right. Touchdowns, 24 on the left to 29 on the right. Receiving yards, 3684 on the left to 3698 on the right. Yards per reception, 14.3 on the left to 14 on the right. Catch percentage, 63.8 on the left to 65.8 on the right. If these aren't the most similar stats I think you've ever seen in an entire career, you're going to have to let me know, because these things are so freaking similar. Yeah. I will give you 3 hints if you can't get them. You are wrong, Johnny, but both of these players are currently playing. My daughter is pounding upstairs. It's ridiculous. Yeah, both of these players are currently playing in the NFL.
So 4 years.
Pounding what? I'm just
Wood.
It can't be Jamar.
It's probably the table,
JJ.
so it's really wood.
Not Jamar and JJ, because they have Will over that.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
I did,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so you both want a hint. Let me try to give you... Okay, first hint. Both of these players came in the league a year apart.
Maybe Amon-Ra is up there then.
So
No,
the player on the
29 is
right,
not.
the player on the right has been here for 3 years. Player on the left has been here for 4 years.
I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb on the left.
Not a bad guess. It's wrong,
4 years.
I know.
but it's not a bad guess.
I don't know. It's got to be JJ and Jamar, because they were a year apart. I'm going JJ and Jamar.
Both these players play on the same team.
Really? T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
I think you might be right.
All right, so you have T. Higgins on the
Good shit.
left and Jamar
Good shit.
Chase on the right.
I love T.
So
Higgins.
based on Jamar Chase's argument, I should be paid before T. Do you guys still think that argument
What did-
stands and holds water?
No. So what have I said in last year and this year? I said people can sit there and say Jamar's number one where people think he is, but I think T is a true number one of this team, because I think when this team is missing T. Higgins, it's missing a big part
Johnny,
of the
that would have been a good one too, because that
Yeah.
is the same exact stat line probably, and I would almost guarantee that AJ probably is blowing Devonta Smith out of stats because of last year. But that's kind of funny because it probably would have been similar. Jag, give me your thought process on the Jamar Chase conversation, because I know that we don't have too much from you in this
perfect.
situation, and you know this team pretty well too.
Jamar Chase is your personality. So, again, you're going to pay for personality, whereas production on the field, you're still lackluster. I'm not going to say lackluster. I'm sorry. That's the improper word to use. But compared to T. Higgins, that injury proneness and, who's going to show up on Sunday? Well, I know T. Higgins is going to be there. Jamar Chase, you might have a cough. And it's just one of those things like, yeah, you connect very well with Burrow. So you can't, but you put him with somebody else, and how well is your production really going to be?
If I'm T, and people are going to say, well, the 14 games, guess what? Those 14 games matters because the 14 games he wasn't here hurt the team.
That's wrong. One played a year longer. T was here a year longer.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So so T should have, I think, another 6 games, right?
Yeah, but he was injured. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So you're telling me that the gentleman that's been there for 3 years has the exact same stats as the guy who's been there for 4 years.
But I'm still taking T.
And way more touchdowns.
I'll take it because guess what? He's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than Jamar Chase. And I think he's a better team player.
I think both these guys make the same money no matter where they go.
Come to Cleveland, T. I would love to have you, bro. I
no
would
comment
love to
there.
have you.
My
you
thing
and
is,
Cooper,
Jamar Chase and his quarterback, like you already had that particular connection.
But look what Jamar Chase did with Jake Browning on the field. He did similar things.
Just because you're a decent athlete.
he's fast.
Yeah,
he's
thank
a
you.
vert guy. Where T. Higgins is your physical. He's your slant.
He's not a vert guy. Jamar Chase is not a vert guy. He is a very good route running receiver who has good hands, and he creates yards after the catch.
I know, but
I didn't put that stat up there.
I'm saying compared to T, he's more of a deep threat, whereas T is more of a physical wide receiver.
I think they're both similar. The only difference is that T has a tight end build,
I was going to say
whereas
T is
Jamar
bigger.
Chase is a wide receiver build.
T and Irv Smith kind of have the same build. If you see him kind of sitting, I mean, Irv Smith's definitely bigger.
T. Higgins has a freaking
Dude,
Chad Ochocinco build. I
yeah.
hate seeing when he was in 85. It's like I was like, who am I looking at? Like, am I looking at Chad Ochocinco or am I looking at T. Higgins? All right, so we'll get off this. I thought that would be interesting for all you guys out there. And this is the last one. Okay, this is 2023 season stats. Games played on the left and right. How about this? We'll go down the left and we'll go down the right. Games played on the left, 15. Targets, 158. Receptions, 112. Touchdowns, 12. Receiving yards, 17. Yards per reception, 15.3. Catch percentage, 70.9. That's a phenomenal catch percentage, by the way.
Here.
Awesome.
This is the 2023 season stats. Games played on the right, 16. Targets, 168. Receptions, 122. Touchdowns, 10. Receiving yards, 1651. Yards per reception, 13.5. Catch percentage, 72.6.
A.J. Brown's got to be one of those two. A.J. and C.D.?
I was going to say Mike Evans.
I like Johnny. I like it easily.
Oh, yeah, Tyreek. Oh, my God.
Easily.
I was thinking
You're right. He's right. 17-7. That's true.
I just like how Johnny's like easily Tyreek on the left.
I didn't think. Yeah, I looked up this stat earlier for 17. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so give me the guy on the right.
Is it? I think it's A.J. Brown.
Wrong.
C.D. Lamb.
That's pretty good.
Is it?
That's pretty good.
As I said, it's just St. Brown. I don't think St. Brown has. I think St. Brown has 8 touchdowns.
All right, so
I
I'll
think he has
give it to you
1,400.
because Johnny said this player earlier, or Jag said this player earlier, and Wheels just said the
Yeah,
answer.
he did. That's the reason, honestly, I saw it.
So-
Because once I saw the 10 touchdowns.
So when you look at this, and I called this a couple weeks back, because I told you CD might be the guy to beat, and if CD goes off today, he will surpass Tyreek Hill. The only thing he might not surpass him on is touchdowns.
Which I hope he does. As much as I dislike Dallas, I hope he does.
By the way, I looked at what Tyreek was targeted. It's like 170 times. Anybody who's targeted almost 200 times in a season that doesn't have 2,000 yards, maybe that's the problem. Like, Jesus. And he's only been a game difference, right? Like, Tyreek only missed one game.
Can you really throw the ball that fast? I mean, you got to think this guy is running 23, 24 miles an hour.
He never hits him in stride. He never hits him in
You
stride.
can't.
Is it possible?
You can't.
He's
But the
down there
difference,
somewhere.
and this is where me and Ryan and a lot of people will have this conversation all the time, right? The difference for Tyreek Hill and Tua is great at perception, so he can see Tyreek open before he's open. So that's why Tua just lets it go, and then Tyreek he can hit him in stride when he sees it. Whereas a lot of quarterbacks, and this is my issue with Baker, this is my issue with a lot of these young guys coming to the league, this is where you're missing like the Peytons, the Tom Brady's. They can see these guys before they were open, throw them open. These guys can't do that. They need to wait for an open receiver and then throw the ball.
Trying to create that small window.
No anticipation. No anticipation. Yeah, they try to gun it right in there and try to hit the guy on the spot that he's currently standing in instead of throwing the receiver open.
But that's what a lot of them learn in college, and that transition hasn't,
That's why C.J. Stroud's so good. C.J. Stroud had great anticipation coming out of college. That's the difference.
Wrong.
All right, so getting into the 4 o'clock games. we'll try to make this as quick as possible. Seattle going into Arizona. I told you guys I feel Seattle's going to win this game. I think Seattle's going to make the playoffs. I'm going to give you the score really quick, and you guys tell me what you got. I'm going to say Seattle wins this game handedly 30-21.
Give me Seattle. I think Seattle wins by a touchdown.
Yeah, Seattle as well.
Seattle's only favored by 3 going into Arizona, just an FYI. And the over-under on this game is 47.5.
I just like that Buda Baker's going to the Pro Bowl.
Take it easy, Johnny.
Over Winfield.
I like how you pay attention to the politics of the game, but not the actual game sometimes.
I love politics.
All right. Any scores for you guys? Yeah.
I have 21-14.
21-7.
Seattle or Arizona?
Seattle.
Now, I will give a little caveat. Arizona can win this game.
Yes.
It's not handily given to Seattle. Personally, I just think that's what's going to happen because Seattle has to do that. But when you're looking at Arizona's defense and what Josh Gannon has done with that team and the fact that they're coming off a huge win against the Eagles, I think they need to take a step back before next year. I think they need to take this loss.
Bet Trey McBride. I think he has a big game today.
It's great momentum, but you got to think Geno Smith compared to who's the quarterback?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Having a brain.
I'll take Kyler Murray over Geno Smith all day.
I'm taking Geno Smith. I am. That's a gunslinger. Kyler Murray is like a. I know you can lean far right. But
I do.
I'm saying, in that sense, Geno Smith is a very good pocket passer where Kyler Murray is going to take that chance for injury or trying to get it upfield, and you're going to use his legs. Hey, you Baker Mayfield 2.0 or you little short, fat, stubby fucker, do what you can, but it's not going to work.
I don't disagree with you that Geno probably has better weapons, and he's looking downfield while he's trying to extend the play, whereas Kyler's looking for the next gap in the line. But at the same time, Kyler was known for as a scrambling quarterback, not so much as a running quarterback. So I can still see Kyler slinging the ball downfield, but I think he's missing a DK or a Tyler Lockett.
No, he is.
But the problem is I don't think DK is that.
I don't have a shank over here. Thank God you got a person in between us.
I don't like DK. I'm sorry. I don't. I think JSN is going to have a better year next year than DK.
Sure. Whatever you say.
$100 bet?
No.
I could be right here.
You
for
owe
that.
me way more than $100.
Right
like, no.
I can witness
I
this
bring
one right now.
coffee, my time's here.
Yeah, his $100 bet's going to turn into 10 cups of coffee. It's what it's going to turn into.
Hey,
he loses.
This is a $100 stretch
All
over
right,
time.
we got Chi-Town going into Wisconsin's Cheese Words. All right, who do we have winning this game?
Chicago all day long, every day.
By the way, Chicago is like the #1 defense in the NFL against the run, against the pass, not against the pass, against turnovers, and that's since week 5.
This is their Super Bowl. They are out of playoff contention. They would love to go in
Were you
Lambeau.
gonna say that?
No, Jordan Love is taking it, bro. And I don't like Jordan Love, but
How's he taking it?
Watson's back.
Is he giving it, or is he taking it?
He's taking it. He's gonna dominate. He's on top tonight. Watson's back. If they could, contain that run game, and Watson's back in that downfield ball, I'm sorry. There's not much that not Mayfield. I'd be messing
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields can frickin'
It's
do.
early for you. You're not used to being up and talking football this early.
No, not at all. But Justin Fields is, again, that is your Kyler Murray. All right, I'm going to look for this little gap, and I'm going to try to get upfield, and you're going to catch you that 3 to 4 yards and then get smacked. I'm sorry. I need you for, again, the rest of the season or until I could trade your ass.
But you have the #1 defense since week 5 going up against the 32nd overall defense.
#1 defense, but how often does the defense score compared to an offense?
If the #1 defense.
Are we talking the Steelers?
I'm saying.
Because I would argue the Steelers defense scores more than the offense. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I'm just saying. So you can actually do this.
Oh, yeah, short people problems.
Move that forward.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, I agree with you, Wheels. I'm gonna take Chi-Town in this one. I think that
what's the
Chicago is
scores?
gonna dominate this game. I don't know if it's gonna be too high scoring. I think the over/under on is actually pretty low. Actually, it's mid. It's 45. Green Bay's favored by only 3, which means it's 1.5 for home field advantage. So they're only favored by 1.5 in reality.
Give me
So-
Chicago 24-10.
I'm gonna. Green Bay's gonna score.
They are.
I'll go 24.
There's going to be two
I'll go
turnovers.
24-20.
Green Bay 10-3.
That's a very bold statement.
So
That is- yes.
So since both these teams,
Green Bay 10. You're saying Chicago doesn't even score a touchdown?
No.
Wow.
So I just real quick, I want to talk about this since we are going into the draft this offseason. Since both these teams were talking about quarterback preseasons and had question marks, what are our feelings now as we are wrapping up the season? I think Justin Fields is the answer for Chicago, and I think Jordan Love is the answer for the Packers. What are your guys' feelings?
I
on
agree.
that?
I agree 100%.
I agree.
Why would you go a different direction?
Exactly. I think you have too much invested in both these guys right now.
Here's why I agree.
They're first round picks, both of them.
Chicago needs trenches. Green Bay needs linebackers.
Yes. I
So
mean,
like those two teams, right? Like they need a certain position, and quarterback's not the position they need.
no, you look at you now. You're 7-9, 8-8. You're a few games away from playoff contention. I mean, obviously the Green Bay's still there, but Chicago.
They started like 1-5.
Yeah, Chicago. Your season, you finished out the season great. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm not mad. I am happy with the way the year has ended for us.
I would
even
argue
though
they're
we're out of
doing
playoffs.
I would argue, and you know me, I'm not an Eberflus fan. I think I said he was going to be the second to third coach fired. Matt Eberflus is doing exactly what Sean Payton did with this offense, which is a huge thing to say because Sean Payton is known as a great coach of all time.
Yes. And if Chicago wins, Matt Eberflus is for sure getting another year. I would have to.
I agree.
My thing is, everybody keeps saying Caleb Williams is going to be the next best thing.
Not here.
And
Not here.
you're going to
Maybe a year ago.
you're going to take you're going to put Caleb Williams over Justin Fields. I'm sorry. I'm going to use what I got. I know what I got. Justin Fields is.
I love
Do you
it.
want to hear my comp? Because I don't think you've heard my comp.
I have not.
It's Russell Wilson. That's my comp to Caleb
Everybody's
Williams.
confident in the Patrick
So
Mahomes,
the question
which I
is,
love
Justin
because-
Fields doesn't have a comp for me. Justin Fields is Justin Fields, right? Like initially, Justin Fields was Lamar Jackson, but now that I see Lamar learning to throw the ball, Justin Fields kind of is still his own thing to me because I think he has that potential to run like Lamar, but I think he's a more accurate passer. The problem is I don't think coaching is utilized as passing, just like Lamar never got utilized in passing until he got Todd Monken.
This is the year they
And
stretch
that's
the
the
field with Lamar. Like we said, he's winning the MVP without a doubt, in my opinion.
At this point, I think he won the MVP.
Unless Dallas and somehow they go out and throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, the only maybe.
So you don't think you need freaking 40 touchdowns to win MVP?
No.
Why would you need 40
Nobody's
touchdowns?
close to that
Because
this year.
what is it? 35 is the average, or 32, or something like that. He was
he's
only at
at-
28 or 29 last time I checked.
He's up there because he's got rushing touchdowns too. I think he's at 32.
Yeah, I think it'll be close. No, but I personally think it should go to CMC. We've all had this conversation.
This is what you have to remember. So we're changing the quarterback schemes now. The pocket passers aren't there anymore. Like the Joe Flacco's.
How
Aaron
can you
Rodgers.
say that when the offensive rookie of the year is a pure pocket passer and has run the ball like 5 times a season, and the
If you would let me
MVP runner up is a pure pocket
If
passer?
you let me finish, the majority of the NFL is not pure pocket passers. Go show me pure pocket passers. Josh Allen, not pure pocket passer. Trevor Lawrence, not pure pocket passer.
2 of the most winningest quarterbacks in the NFL are pure pocket passers.
Who?
Tua and CJ Stroud.
Okay, who else?
I mean, I gave you 2 pure pocket passers.
So that's 2 out of 32, right?
But I've told you why I don't like running passers.
I don't either, but I'm saying that's where the 35 touchdown
Let me tap on this. Why don't you like running passers?
1, injury. They always have an injury issue. And then 2, if you can't make the game work with your arm, you shouldn't be the quarterback. I understand having that ability to escape the pocket and extend a play, that's a scrambling. That's not the same as a running quarterback.
Correct.
Right? So that's why like Patrick Mahomes is good. And that's actually why Lamar has been as good this year because he's used his legs to extend plays, not as part of the game plan.
Yes.
That's why. And like I said, injury is a huge factor. If you look at Josh Allen last year, you look at Lamar Jackson the year before, you look at Lamar Jackson the year before that. Look at Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow has a habit of running a lot. All of these guys are injury prone. Look at Jalen Hurts, right? He struggled with injury at the end of last year because of how much he was running the ball. Now they turn him into a pure pocket passer. They don't have a good OC. Change that offense.
How do you become a pure pocket passer when your line is lackluster?
Name me a line that's lackluster on a running team. outside of the Kansas City Chiefs, because Kansas City Chiefs got rid of their left tackle because they thought that they shouldn't pay a left tackle because they're stupid. But when you look at the Buffalo Bills, solid O-line. You look at Lamar Jackson, dude, they got one of the best O-lines in the NFL.
Yes.
You look at Jalen Hurts, probably the second best O-line in the NFL. You look at, even when you look at the Browns with Deshaun Watson, who's a scrambler, phenomenal O-line. CJ Stroud probably struggles with his O-line, but he's still a pure pocket passer. Miami, shitty O-line, pure pocket passer.
And so just to harp on this, this is the first year that Lamar Jackson has only ran 148 times rushing
Yeah.
attempts.
But I just said that.
He's injured. That's what I'm saying.
But he's used it only for scrambling purposes for the most part
But
this
that's
year.
what I'm saying. That's what helps your argument.
Yeah, and even Patrick Mahomes, he's never run for over like 500-600 yards because he only uses it when a prey breaks down.
Yeah, or extend plays.
So that's all I'm saying. If I had to pick a team here in this situation, Justin Fields, that offense needs to get him a Todd Monken style coordinator, and I don't think they need to change from Justin Fields. They need to find someone that can help him throw the ball downfield. And we all agree that if Marvin Harrison declares, that's probably the best place for him. He gets to play with Justin Fields. And that's simple here.
But he still have a 1-2 punch with if Marvin Harrison and
DJ Moore.
Mooney. Yes.
Well, DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Darnell would be the third at that point.
But
Darnell dropped the pass in Cleveland. He still hasn't lived that down.
It's maybe
but hey,
true.
those are those weapons. You still need a 1-2-3 consecutive punch because
you need a running back now. That's it.
Yes.
But you can get a running back in the third round. You don't need to.
Running
you don't
backs
need to
are a
reach.
dime a dozen, but running backs like McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, etc., are very.
I'm sorry, Dalvin
He
Cook
gave
just
a
got picked up.
He gave a caveat. He said, but these people.
CMC, Nick Chubb, those guys are.
He said it. He said they are a dime a dozen, but these people. That's the way to say it. Because you can get all mid-level running backs in the NFL, and you can go pick them up anywhere.
Like Kamara, third round pick.
But you're not going to get Nick Chubb, CMC, Dalvin Cook. Those guys you're going to have to spend money for. Jonathan Taylor. Those guys you're going to have to spend money on.
How much did the Ravens spend for Dalvin Cook?
We don't know yet because he's on the practice squad.
I'm guessing he probably took about
4 to 6
million
for the playoffs.
I was going to say 4,500 or 4.5 million.
Well, did they pick him up off of waivers or did they wait till he cleared waivers?
I think he's gonna.
If they picked him up off waivers, they ain't gonna cost him shit.
He was free agent.
It was post Thursday.
Yep, it was post Thursday. He cleared.
Okay, so they haven't. So we'll have to figure out his contract.
Yeah, if they were smart, they would have signed him to a 2-year deal.
No, I disagree with that. Well, that's a tough one.
Dobbins
that's a tough
is
one.
Done, dude. They're not re-signing Dobbins.
I don't. Well, it depends. What is he gonna take? Right? Like
I'll give you a league minimum, bud, because you get injured every other year.
He's better than league min, even injured.
No, he's not. The dude's been injured every single year. It sucks. I mean,
they picked him up off of waivers, man.
I swear it was.
Look at this cap hit.
Yeah. What is it?
16,000. He got a 1-year contract for $289,000. So right now he's on the practice squad. They haven't moved him up to the active roster because they have the 1 week bye.
I swear to God, they said they signed him off free agency. I thought he
might have. He might have. It says contract 1 year, $289,000.
Is that for the Jets or Baltimore?
No, well, so
go down.
If you look base salary, it's right here. But no, that's 1 point.
It should go down to where his signings
It's right here.
were.
It's $6.5 million. That's what he made for the Jets.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably making $250,000 for the playoffs, and I bet you there will be a shit ton of incentives that come out in that contract. Like if he gets over 400 yards in 3 games or whatever.
Or
I'm sure there's
touchdowns. Yeah.
So I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch of incentives here. Okay, let's move on from here. We'll get into the. Oh, by the way, what did you guys have winning? Chicago, and Green Bay.
Yes.
All right. Kansas City going into the Chargers. I'm not even going to talk about this game too much. Kansas City clinched. They are playing Blaine Gabbert, right?
Give me KC. Yeah.
They're starting Blaine Gabbert though.
Yeah, there's they have the vision, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't. Well, it does. Do they want to play the Browns?
Why start your offense? I mean, start Kadarius Toney. He can't.
Or do you think you're just so good that you're going to beat the Chargers because they're so bad?
The Chargers are very bad. Easton Stick is not.
They don't even have a coach. Like this team's off.
Give me KC. Are you taking KC, KJ?
I'll take KC. Yeah.
I'm taking KC.
Yeah, all right. We don't have to get to that game. I'll take KC, but I think the spread. I'll probably take KC to cover. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
They're getting 12.
No. The Chargers are favored.
By what? You're telling me it's like 1.5, please.
No, it's 3.5.
What? Oh, bet, give points. If you're taking the Chiefs, take the points.
Dude.
You're going to take the money.
I have a question for you guys, and we're going to
line.
move on right after this question. If Blaine Gabbert has a better completion percentage with the receivers than Patrick Mahomes, what do?
You start him in the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
In the playoffs, man.
I don't know, because that becomes an emotional state, because if you ever see Patrick after shit disposes,
he blames it on everybody else right now.
Yes. And he's been trying to keep his composure. And they're like, no,
he's trying.
But you can only do so much as a quarterback. So that one's a hard one.
I'm telling you, like, and mind you, we're not playing. Kelsey's probably not playing. I would assume Rashee Rice will be out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Kadarius Toney was on the IR, so I don't think Tony's playing.
He can't drop any more passes.
So I'm just saying. If Blaine Gabbert goes out there and he completes, right? Let's just say he completes 24 for 30, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. What do?
Nothing.
You start that same offense next week?
No.
I would.
No.
No. I'm just not going to
Let's move on.
Sorry, guys. All right, Philly going into the Giants.
Philly.
Jack, give me what you got here.
I've been liking Tyrod Taylor's play lately, but
I can't believe they're not going with the Italian. They just gave up on him.
Hey. You know, those were some good cannolis, but they got burnt. So Jalen Hurts is going to show up. Tyrod Taylor is still going to have about 200 yards. I am hoping A.J. Brown keeps his composure. And
hope all you want, man. This dude has not been able to keep his composure.
And so if A.J. Brown keeps his composure going into today, it'll be a decent game. Philly 28, New York 10.
That next score doesn't bother me at all. Just everything that came out of your mouth bothered me.
Everything that comes out of my mouth bothers you.
Give me Philly 17. 17-6.
All right. I can understand that. You're saying if they start going up, they're just going to run the ball. I get it. Here's what I will say, and I kind of agree with that. Boston Scott heavy, Kenneth Gainwell heavy. You won't see much Swift out there. If you do, it'll be for the first half.
You're not going to see Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
You'll see Smith and A.J. for the first half if they go up, like you said. You won't see a lot of Goddard out there.
No,
because they need him in the playoffs. Yeah. But I would say I'm going to go. I kind of like your score, 24-10, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I kind of like that score better. That gives more leeway. But I will see Saquon will be hugely impactful in this game just because the Giants have to run their entire offense through Saquon. So I kind of like a run-heavy game here. So I definitely probably would take the under on this game.
Before we move on, Saquon as a good backing, like you said, you got to move your offense around Saquon. Do you start Tyrod next year, or do you?
I don't know why they.
No, you start Daniel Jones. You start Daniel Jones until you figure out what you're going to do at quarterback. Because you can draft a quarterback.
All that money.
You can still draft a quarterback.
Thank you.
I don't know what to tell you. Daniel Jones isn't that bad. The problem was that neck injury this year was a problem, and I've been telling you this for years. They suck at drafting O-line.
They suck at drafting receivers, dude. I know.
I disagree. Wan'Dale has been phenomenal.
Outside of that, Sterling Shepard is mid. The entire wide receiver room is mid outside of Wan'Dale Robinson.
Okay, they're as mid as Cedric Tillman, and he's still producing on the field.
I get it, but you don't have a true number one.
Wan'Dale's been a phenomenal slot receiver like Amon-Ra. They just don't utilize him.
He's not a one on any other team right now, maybe other than Casey.
Amon-Ra's not a one on any team. Yes, the problem is he's a phenomenal slot receiver, and he creates separation when he breaks on his routes, which turns him into a number one because he has a quarterback that will throw him open.
Yes.
Jared Goff is a gambling quarterback that will throw a receiver open. Daniel Jones is a spot thrower. So you need to be running more timing routes, and you need to. The offensive coordinating sucks there. Dable has not figured him out.
No, Dable thought it was going to be an easy fix like it was with Josh Allen, and we saw how Josh Allen has suffered.
And I would argue that Josh Allen's talent level is way superior to Daniel Jones, so it's easier to work with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Dable has 1 year left.
Tyrod Taylor's superior than Daniel Jones if he could stay healthy.
No. Tyrod Taylor, we've seen the best of Tyrod Taylor, and he's a backup.
I like Tyrod.
I love Tyrod.
I like Tyrod.
But he's not a starting quarterback. He's a backup.
I don't think Daniel Jones is worth, $63 million a year? Or whatever?
I don't think Gino's worth what he's making either, though.
Danny Dimes got 40. Derek Carr got 40. Garoppolo got 40. They all were in the 40 range.
I would take Gino over Daniel Jones, though.
Oh, yeah. And Geno made less than Danny.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on from here. Speaking of Sean Payton, 8-8 team going into the Raiders, playing a 7-8 Las Vegas or 7-9 Las Vegas Raiders. This is a battle of the shits at this point because both these front offices have kind of fallen apart. Wheels, give me what you got in this game.
It's not going to be a clean game. I think there's going to be about 4 turnovers total in this game. It's going to be very boring, so you might just want to watch golf.
Who's the quarterback?
Aiden O'Connell, and I don't know. I honestly don't know who's starting for the Broncos.
I don't know.
I was going to say Trevor Siemian, but he's not in the Broncos
It's not
anymore.
Simeon, it's the other guy.
Jag.
That
just
was
another
so that
Jag.
was so funny though. Because I knew you wouldn't know.
I'm going Raiders.
Me too.
I'm definitely going Raiders.
I like Las Vegas.
If they get Devontae Adams open,
Jared
Yeah.
Stidham.
if they could get Devontae Adams open, I don't think Sean Payton will be able to contain Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams with his whole scheme. So, you're trying to move on from freaking Russell Wilson's, and he's got you those 8 wins. So why would you continue to move on from somebody who has put you in this place with your coaching?
Yeah, and I would argue that Sean Payton probably doesn't want to win this game because he needs a draft pick, and if the Raiders beat you and you guys tie, right?
Division.
You tie, the Raiders are 1 up on you.
Yeah.
Right? So like now you stepped ahead of them in the draft pick. I agree. Raiders. Raiders are favored by 3, and I think it's like a 37.5 point game.
It's going to be like 14-9.
No, I'll say it's probably going to be, let's go 23-14. 23-14. So, moving on from there, that's another game that kind of really like doesn't matter, right? I hit all the wrong buttons. I love it. You got the LA Rams going into San Francisco, who is benching pretty much all of their
I think
starters.
both teams are.
Yep. And I think that's because the Rams clinched the wild card.
Butt
Yes.
cheeks.
So
But here's the issue with the Rams, right? If they lose, are they still ahead of Green Bay if they win, or the Seattle Seahawks if they win, or like all those wild card teams?
I don't know. That's a good question. Give me the Rams though.
Really?
Yes.
I don't disagree. I think Carson Wentz will probably play better than
You're
Sam
not-
Darnold.
I like the Rams backups better than the Niners. Sorry.
I'm going Niners. They have great momentum going forward, so I'm going Niners.
This is a telltale sign, by the way, because if the Niners can win with their backups against the Rams, I will be impressed, because the Niners have struggled with depth recently.
That's what I said. I don't like it.
So
And they just lost, I think, their safety, right?
Yeah.
They just lost their safety, so that's a tough
He's
one
done
for
for
them.
the year.
Yeah. And by the way, 6 year-ending surgeries for that safety. 6 year-ending surgeries.
he has a great doctor.
Him and J.K. Dobbins.
He knows Odell's surgeon.
You broke it again.
Hey,
All right.
just come on back here.
I'll take the Rams. This one to me is going to be a defensive battle, obviously. I'm going to say 17-14 Rams.
Okay.
21-14 49ers.
Over 49ers are only favored by 4.
17-10 Rams.
All right, we'll move on from here because, again, the 49ers clinched first place in the NFC. I went through all that stuff this weekend and saw that they did clinch first in the NFC. So no matter who wins, they have the first place in the NFC. Moving on from here, getting into the last 4 o'clock game, Dallas going into Washington. Give me what you got, Jag, because I know as soon as you found out this was in Washington, your stomach turned a little bit.
Oh yes, because the freaking Cowboys can't win on the road, and it is Washington. I'm sorry, but like this is like I gotta prove something.
Sam Howell's starting, too.
Yeah.
I gotta prove something.
I'm thinking Washington.
So how long do you play Dak before?
Is that a pun? How long do you play Dak?
I didn't even try it, but yeah.
It sounded like it.
How long do you play Dak before you put Trey Lance in as his number 2? Because
I think he's 3. I think Cooper Rush is 2.
Cooper Rush.
wow, so you signed this guy and he's still 3.
I'm gonna be honest. Well,
Maybe
they
get
traded
that
for
type
him.
of
They
money.
traded for him. They traded like a 5th or a 6th for him. Yeah.
Still, you're getting paid all this money and you're still number 3. Like, okay, we'll move on from that. But
I would, but I'm not opposed to them trying to see what Trey Lance can do in the offense. They traded for him.
Because you got to remember, Dak is due to make like $60 million next year, and you weren't sure where he was going to play at the time of the trade.
And if he loses the first round of the playoffs, there's chances they move on from the head coach and Dak.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, but Dak may be good in the regular season, but $60 million is not worth regular season good level play and playoffs.
The things I do.
My thing is McCarthy.
The things I do for $60 million.
Man, what? But no, McCarthy is going to. McCarthy is this is his game. Like, hey,
you know why they won't win? Because they can't run
Cowboys.
They can't run the ball.
Yeah, they should have never gotten rid of Zeke. Zeke is what they're missing.
You think Tony Pollard's better than Zeke?
They haven't been able to.
Not close. No.
Just think of Ryan. Ryan and I had this conversation the other day.
I don't think Tony Pollard is a number 1 running back.
He's the number 2. Ryan and I had this conversation the other day. If you look at Mike McCarthy and then you look at Kellen Moore,
they're the same.
Well, no. You look at both those guys, they have not been able to run the ball. Like Kellen Moore went to the Chargers, or to the Chargers, right?
He was from the Chargers. He came from the Chargers.
No, he went from Dallas and he went to the Chargers, and they haven't been able to run the ball in the Chargers since he went there. So Mike McCarthy still hasn't been able to run the ball, even with Toner, Deuce Vaughn, and Rico Dowdle.
But the reason why McCarthy has a Super Bowl is because of Rodgers. It's not McCarthy.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's a big piece of their offense that's missing. And outside of Dak being now turning into a scrambling quarterback and being able to extend the play and take the yards when it's given, that's where they've excelled.
The last time Dallas has won a divisional round was the last time they won the Super Bowl. I believe it was 92.
I don't know. I thought it was like 90s. Was it Marvin Harrison?
I don't know. It was old. But Dallas they've always struggled. They've always been first or second round exits. They have yet to win 2 playoff games in like 30
good thing is
years.
This is the last game of the year. It's not a playoff game.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're not winning this one, and they're not going to win a first round playoff game either. So
they're going to win this one. They're not going to win the first.
I agree. They're going to win this one. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they don't win this one, God, the harassment's
24-3.
Give me Washington. Give me Washington 28-17.
Whoa, that's a spread, bro.
Like some cheeks.
You took them to cover by what Dallas is supposed to. Dallas is supposed to 13.5.
Dallas. They don't travel well. They
you
don't.
Do know they're not playing any of their defense, right, Washington?
They have no defense.
They're not playing what they don't have right now either. Like they literally told Dallas, you can go out there and score. We're not starting any defenders.
Give me Washington.
That's obviously sarcasm, Jag. And you're looking at me like I'm serious. I'll take Dallas. See, it's hard in the final week because if they're going to go up, like they're not going to continue to go up. They're going to bench guys. I'm going to take Dallas 24-10. Is that what you said, Jag?
I said 24-3.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I'll say 24-10.
Okay. And then our last game.
Yeah, it's our last game of the week will be Buffalo at Miami. This game actually has the most on the line because winner of this game wins their division. Loser of the game could be out or could be the wild card.
Yeah, so Buffalo has to win to get in, or the Jaguars have to lose, and if the Bills lose,
Buffalo can tie and they're in.
Yes, or Buffalo can. So I'm just going to say this. The Dolphins are the Cowboys of the AFC. They don't travel well.
I like that.
They play very well at home, but outside of that, they are 1-4 against teams with a 500 record or better. The Dolphins will also be a first-round exit, so give me Buffalo to the win of the division.
It's funny. If it wasn't for the Bradley Chubb injury, I would have taken Miami.
I just want to harp on this for 1 second. Mike McDaniels, you're a moron. You were down by 30 with 3 minutes left. Why is your starting defense out there? You have backups for a reason. You pay backups for a reason. Why aren't they out there? Put the towel ball at the end. Why do you have Bradley Chubb, who you traded for, and have draft picks and money invested in on the defensive line with 3 minutes left?
All right, I'm gonna take
the best 3 minutes of his life.
I'm gonna take Buffalo on this one, and stat padding's a thing, man. Like some guys really want to be out there. Maybe Bradley Chubb wanted to be out there. I don't know.
And
it's not
right.
all.
It's a player's coach issue, and that's what he is.
It is a player's coach issue, and that's Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniels. No,
Dan Campbell and Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels. They're both players, coaches who struggle to make hard decisions at times when
because they want to be liked by the locker room.
Yep,
You know,
I
I
agree.
think this is going to be a track meet. If they could contain Buffalo, contain Tyreek Hill, that's going to be nice. But Gabe Davis is going to be the prolific person for the Bills.
I like that. I think him and
I don't think you're wrong. Yeah,
I think Kincaid has a big game too.
but you know what's funny is that Stephon Diggs hasn't had over 100 yards in the last 5 games.
And that's you going to stop that?
I just want to say this going into the offseason possibly. Don't be surprised if the Bills move on from Stephon Diggs and pay T. Higgins.
I don't even know where to go with that.
I didn't mean either.
T. Higgins is younger than Stephon. I don't think he's as dynamic as Stephon.
He's not, but Stephon Diggs has an attitude problem on the sideline, and I believe that carries over to the field and hurts the rest of the team. He did the same thing with the Vikings. They traded him, and you got JJ.
That's incorrect. He did not do that with the Vikings.
Yeah,
He didn't do that with the Vikings until they essentially pulled him off the field.
And the only thing that could keep the Diggs in Buffalo is Josh Allen, because as much as I love Josh Allen, huge Josh Allen fan coming out of the draft, he did not produce until Diggs was there.
I would argue what else keeps Diggs in Buffalo is a $27 million cap hit.
That's why I said don't be surprised if they trade him. And
nobody.
But you're gonna say Gabe Davis is going to be potentially their number one if you get rid of Diggs?
First things first. Nobody's trading for a $28 million receiver. Because you're going to want a first.
You're not getting a first. You're getting a second. I'm sorry. You're not getting a first for Stephon Diggs.
He's worth a first.
If you give a Diggs
Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs is as capable as Tyreek Hill.
Yes, he is. But my issue is his attitude. I don't like it. It's always me. I. It's not a team. It's always him. The camera's always on him when
Well, that's media. That's not. I don't blame that on him.
I don't care. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard on the sideline. There's times where I get where you're emotional, but it's every game that they struggle. He's just pissed. You can't do that.
The dude hasn't had 100 receiving yards in 5 or 6 games. That's
open.
It's not 100% his fault.
I'm not saying
defenses are scheming for him. So here's the problem: as a head coach or an offensive coordinator, you're supposed to scheme your guys open, and they're not scheming Stephon Diggs open.
Not only that, but you got Josh Allen trying to again scramble to get those extra yards.
It's like the Lamar Jackson thing. Josh Allen has to stop relying on his legs, and we said that. And he has rushed a lot more, I believe. He has more rushing attempts, I believe, this year than Lamar Jackson.
He does.
Attempts?
More rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Lamar had 148 attempts. I think Josh Allen's at 172.
Rushing attempts, single season. This is hard to do.
Hold on.
I just happen to be here.
Tua, if Tua could stay healthy, again, you're getting towards the end of the season, and he cannot survive a blitz. And that's just my whole thing. You're a small quarterback, pocket passing like we referenced earlier. He's short, so you got your DNs. All I gotta do is put a freaking hand up, and you're getting packed like freaking Demick Mutombo, and that's it. I'm sorry.
Who was getting that?
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Tua.
he only has 96 attempts. My bad.
I thought he had way less than Lamar, so I apologize.
It was last year he had way more than Lamar.
Yeah.
Does he have more rushing touchdowns than Lamar this year?
He might, because of the way they run their offense. But did you also hear?
Yeah, he has 15 rushing.
Did you know that Josh Allen in the red zone, I think it was 33 touchdowns, 0 interceptions? So if you can get to the red zone, James Cook.
And this is what I want to say about. Everybody says that Josh Allen is turnover prone. They have to remember he is a John Elway, Brett Favre-esque. He's a gunslinger, so you're going to have these turnovers. But as you brought up the red zone, he is perfect, near perfect in the red zone.
Well, I would argue that's perfect. I don't know if they've ever gotten stopped, but I would argue 33 or 35 touchdowns in the red zone is perfect.
And if you remember, we're Browns fans, obviously. Baker had a very big turnover issue in the red zone, did he not? So whereas Josh Allen has more interceptions over the length of the field, not in red zone areas, I'll take that over the red zone.
My thing is,
you're not leaving points on the board.
Who's going to have more rushing yards?
I think Josh Allen.
For what?
Or Lamar Jackson.
No. I'm saying tonight in general between the two teams, because Was it Achane?
Mostert's out. Achane's in.
Mostert's out. Waddle's out. Achane's in. Tyreek's in. Give me James Cook. 126.
Yeah, I'll say James Cook over Achane just because
Bradley
the defense.
Chubb's
Buffalo's defense is better too.
And Bradley Chubb not being there, and they lost their one linebacker a couple weeks back. Those are two huge pieces that open up the running
Here's
game.
the thing. I'll kind of leave it at this for me. Buffalo is positioned very well in this game with the injuries that Miami's taken the last 2-3 weeks.
And they're
So
striding at the
I will say Buffalo's offense will look like a playoff offense today. I'm gonna go Buffalo 28-21.
Okay.
Just because Buffalo is going to pop off tonight. You're going to see Stephon for one. You're going to see James Cook for one. Josh Allen might snake one in. And then my fourth touchdown would probably go to Khalil Shakir. Just because Miami forgets about Shakir. They're going to be paying attention to Gabe Davis over top.
Yes.
And you're going to have Jalen Ramsey specifically on Stephon Diggs.
That's why I said I don't think Stephon
So
Diggs is going to have
I think he gets a touchdown. I just don't think he has that 100
That's
plus.
going to be like a 22-yard touchdown, have like 60 yards and maybe 40.
And I think last time they played, Stephon Diggs forced his way into the end zone. And I also would argue this one, by the way, for Buffalo. Buffalo kind of got dicked over this year because they didn't get a home game on Miami. They had to go play them in Jacksonville.
Yes.
So that's kind of a dick move that when you have a division end of game year and only one team had the home field advantage.
Well, that's what the London games is. You shouldn't be playing divisional games.
I agree. I think there should be no divisional games in London.
Because you're hurting the season ticket buyers, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's just bogus.
Unless you're Jacksonville, because that's their home field
play an
advantage.
out-of-division team. Play they could have played anybody else that wasn't in division in London. That makes
agree.
no sense. And I like how you said Jacksonville.
But I agree, and that's kind of my frustration because Buffalo now they can go. We didn't even have a home game against Miami, and that's for the division.
Yeah.
Like if we would have played them at home, maybe we win that. Well, they won the game anyway. So, but I'm just saying, like they can make that argument all day.
Who are you taking?
I'm going to go Miami 24-21.
Being different.
Who's your score? Or who do you got scoring in Miami then?
28-21.
Because Mostert not being on the field, who's leading in touchdowns for this team, is a big factor. I think
Tyreek is going to. Like I said, it's going to be a track meet. Tyreek is going to at least have 2 to 3 scores himself, so that's that 21.
So you're calling for Tyreek's like best game
I'm
of the
calling
year.
yes.
Best game of the year.
He's got to come back to something. And if they can stop Diggs and Gabe Davis, that's where I think Josh Allen's going to be a little bit more mobile. And just trying to.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Over or under 45 yards for Josh Allen rushing?
Over.
It's going to be like 75.
He's barely done it like 4 times this year, so that's why I'm asking.
It's
There's
okay, so it's warm.
There's going to be a lot of broken plays in open field.
It is in Miami,
It's
too.
warm, so those hamstrings are going to be freaking mobile, buddy.
All right, that's why I'm asking. Now, the other thing, does Tyreek's off-the-field situation at all affect his play today? Because his house just practically burnt down.
Oh, I thought you were talking about all the kids he has.
No.
Was his kids burned down his
He
house?
has like 6 kids with like 4 different women.
They was smoking some reefers in the back.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care if he populates the earth. That don't bother me. He's a good dude. I like Tyreek's personality. I like his attitude.
If you're going to do the Nick Cannon, do the Nick Cannon.
He doesn't need to slap boat owners, and I'll be all right. Like,
just keep your drink in your hand.
that's right. I'm just curious, like with his house in that burning situation and him
I
not
think
being
it
in practice, like does that affect him at all?
he's
No,
a
he's in a
veteran.
good hotel right now.
Yeah, he's a veteran. He's been there.
He in a
Obviously,
hotel.
I mean, it sucks, but I think it
Houseboat.
drives him more than anything.
Hey, somebody's got a great condo.
It lights a fire under his ass. So
Hey,
I see what you did there.
Good pun. Good pun. All right. I mean, that's kind of all I got for today. I don't think we have really much to talk about. We did guess that player. We went through the games.
Wednesday we'll be back, right?
Wheels. Sure.
Was it, or do you wanna do
Yeah.
Friday?
We'll do Wednesday. It'll be some off-season talk Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably talk about Wednesday as a national championship game because you have Michigan playing Washington on Monday at 7:30.
Let's go
That
blue
is a
and gold.
primetime game this Monday at 7:30. I'm pretty sure.
Let's
We're
go
not
blue
gonna
and
hit
gold.
Huh?
It's this Monday. We're not going to hit it Wednesday.
No, we'll talk about it. What
Oh,
happened in it?
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Wednesday.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm just letting everybody know that it's this Monday, 7:30 p.m. You have Washington going into Michigan, or is it played at a bowl?
How about this? We'll
Is it played at a non-site?
It's non-site.
It's a neutral site?
I think it's
Yes.
in Atlanta.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about let's do top 5 team needs for like the top 5 draft picks. Let's do top 5 team needs.
Okay, so top 5 draft picks in the NFL team needs.
Yeah.
So like what positions they're kind of
Yeah.
looking at. Okay, we can do that. Give me your takeaways for the day, Wheels.
Takeaways for this day is rest your starters. We saw a reason why. Buffalo will win the division, and Dolphins and Cowboys will have a first-round playoff exit.
All right. How about you, my brother?
Again, agreed. Rest your starters. But I'm looking for a lot of, I guess, second string to alleviate what, going into this playoff scheme of, how everybody's going to pan out, because nobody is really starting like that, or you're starting your first half. So
like backups, it's your Tay to
Yes.
step up. Tay to
Yes.
step up.
Yes.
All right. And that's kind of it for me today. As all y'all know, we had this wonderful special guest today. We do appreciate him.
Hey guys.
He brought hopefully some comedy to the show,
He did.
because that's something we've been missing for a little bit. When Bo's not here, we're not funny. I'm
I
not,
try to be fun.
especially. Wheels is our monotone wheels. We need to find like some acronym for monotone wheels over there.
I brought a lot of dark jokes today.
And they're continuing over and over and over again. All right.
can't help it.
That being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend betting. This is a dangerous week to be betting on the NFL, so be cautious of your bets unless there's incentives that teams need for players. I would be super cautious on your bets in the NFL today, because nothing's going to go as you expect in Week 18. Just being honest with you. That being said, you guys know how to do. We'll see you Wednesday, 5:30. Peace out.
Later.
Peace.